Hi, I'm certainly glad to see you today. Thought today we'd do a fantastic little painting, and I'm glad you're here and going to paint along with me. So I tell you what, let's start out today and run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with me. While they're doing that, let me show you what I've done up here, because we have something a little bit different today. Let me explain what's happening here. Standard old 18 by 24 inch canvas, but you use any size that you want. And I've taken black gesso, and I have an idea in my mind today, and I thought I'd do a little waterfall. So I've just painted this with black gesso, and I've even put in a basic indication of where my little waterfall will be, and let that dry. Then I've taken a little bit of liquid clear and covered the entire canvas. The liquid clear is there only to make the next layer go on easier. Now while the liquid clear is still wet, I've covered the entire canvas with a thin, very thin coat of alizarin crimson and phthalo blue to make a lavender, sort of to the bluish side. And with that, we're going to do a fantastic little waterfall. So I hope you enjoy this one. Shoot, let's start out today. We'll use this little tiny 2-inch brush here. We'll go right into some titanium white. I like these kind of paintings because they work so nice. This black gesso is the most fantastic thing you've ever seen. We'll put a little of that white on there. Let's go up here. Now maybe our light source is going to be right up here above the waterfall. So take the white. Now there's very little color up here. The clear allows you to put just almost like a glaze. There's not a great deal of color. If you don't have the clear on there, you end up putting so much paint that when you put white on there, it turns, color's too strong. Anyway, watch here though, because it's such a small amount of paint, I want to create the illusion of light shining through here. And by just taking a little of that titanium white and making like little crisscross strokes, we can do that. Very little color on the canvas. Now you could do this several times to achieve a desired lightness if you wanted to. If you wanted this to be brighter, well, I'll show you. Take a little more white. Maybe you want it to be a little brighter right in here. You can add a little more white in there. There. But see, already it looks like there's light just exploding through there. And it's a beautiful, beautiful way to make some very interesting paintings. And you can pull it a little if you want to really make it look like light rays zinging through. There's no limit to this. There we go. All right, so we have our light source now. Now without even cleaning the brush, I'll just go right back into that lavender color I was using to cover the canvas with. Alizarin crimson and phthalo blue. Much more crimson than blue though. But it's still to the bluish side. The blue is so much stronger than the crimson. We'll just tap a little color onto the brush here. And it still had the white on it that we just used, so it's a little lighter. Okay, let's go up in here. Now maybe back in here we have all kind of little tree shapes and stuff. So let's just start thinking about little trees that live way back here. We don't want these to be too dark yet. We want these to be very subdued, very quiet, because they're right in that strong light that's coming through there. So all we're looking for here initially is some very basic little shapes of some happy little trees that live back in here. There we go. But very, very basic little shapes. Maybe there's a few more little things living in here. Wherever you think they should be. It's exactly where they should be. Just sort of let your imagination just go wild. It's what's so fantastic about painting. You can create any kind of world that you want. See, already it gives you an impression of limbs hanging over there. Now then, shoot, I'll just use that same old brush. I'm lazy, I don't want to clean it. Take a little bit of the titanium white on there. And we'll put a few little highlights on some of these that are far back in here. The lights zinging through here, these are going to be very light and bright. There they go, see? And begin thinking about shape and form. There. Now then, maybe as we work a little closer, tell you what, let's begin picking out a few little tree limbs and little sticks and twigs that live in there. So we'll take some paint thinner on our liner brush and go into that same identical color. Think about trunks and sticks. There. If you have trouble making this flow, add a little bit more of the paint thinner, that's all. That's all. Okay, see there? You can make as many or as few as you want in your world. Wherever you think there should be a little stick or twig, that's where you want it. And this paint should flow just as easy, almost like you were using a pen and writing. If it doesn't flow like that, chances are you don't have quite enough thinner on your brush. We'll take a little more of that titanium white, a little more of that lavender color. And now we can come back in here and let's begin picking out little individual clumps of things that live on these trees. Little tiny things. See them? There. Wherever you think they should be. Darker, darker, darker over here on the left, because not as much light's going to strike over there. Takes very little paint to do this particular part. Very little. Maybe. There, let's add a little more color. Maybe right down in here, there's some things that just sort of, maybe they just sort of hang over like this. I don't know. Just sort of let your brush take you there. Maybe it hangs right down. I don't know. I really don't know. You can just sort of pick out all these little things that you like in here. And just begin working with shapes and forms. Let all these little things happen. Think about all the little creatures that live out here, little squirrels and bunny rabbits, and just hundreds and thousands of little things live in here. There. Okay, there's another one. Right. But already you have so many layers there that create the illusion of depth and distance in your painting. Maybe. Oh, there's a nice one. Looking for some nice individual shapes in there. There. Okay. Now then, tell you what, I'll just take a fan brush here. Shoot, we'll take a little bit of that same color, and maybe back in here you can just, this should be almost identically the same color as what you have up there. Just want to put the indication of some things way back in there that you just barely can see. They're far away, and all we're doing is just tapping in some basic little shapes. Now then, probably the most fun thing to do here is the waterfall, of course. So let's do that. Let's do that. We'll take a 1-inch brush. I'm going to dip it into a little bit of the liquid clear. Just a small amount. Just a small amount. We'll go through some titanium white. Now the clear in there is only to thin it. It's only to thin it. All right. In fact, I may put a little more. Let me dip the brush into just a tiny bit more. There. All right, that's nice. You can feel it when you pull the brush across. It should be slick. You can reach up and get the least little touch of phthalo blue. Ooh, least little touch though. Whisper, whisper. Okay, let's go up in here. Now if our waterfall lives right here, let the water sort of come along like this and then shoom, and fall. Just let it fall. See there? Shoom. Just let it go. There. Add a touch more blue to that. I want it just a little more to the blue side. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Hope you can see what a difference that makes. There. Now, we can take a clean 2-inch brush and from the bottom lift upward and smooth that and blend it until it's just as smooth as glass. That clear will allow you to just make it so smooth. And maybe down here toward the base, maybe there's some mist. We'll just take a little white paint, very small amount, right on the tip of the brush. And let's just put the indication here of a little foam. If water falls that far, you're going to have mist that's floating around here. Just no way you can get away from it. If water falls that far, you're certainly going to have mist. There. Already that sort of looks like it's laying in a little cloud almost. That's what we're looking for. All right. Now then. Maybe. Tell you what, maybe in our world, maybe there's a nice tree over here on this side. But you start with the thing that's the farthest away and you work forward. So let's take a little dark sienna. Oh, I'll reach over here and get a little white, thin it down a little. We'll use the liner brush. A little bit more of the dark sienna. Okay, let's go up here. Maybe there's a little tree trunk that lives right in here. And just wiggle that brush, turn it as you let it come down so you get all of those fantastic little shapes. It's not just it's not just a future telephone pole living here. This tree has form and shape, character. He's a nice tree. Very nice little tree. There he is. Okay, now, maybe over here, there's not as much light striking. Let's use that same old brush, shoot, I'm lazy. Take a little sap green, a little bit of cad yellow. Reach up here and grab a little midnight black. That'll, ooh, there, see what makes a beautiful dark green. Push that brush, load that little ridge of paint right out on the edge of the bristle. That's an excellent shot there, you can really see that. Okay, let's go up here. Now then, I want to have nice leafy things that are hanging right over here. Just begin with the corner of the brush and begin creating this illusion. This is what's so fantastic about having the black gesso on there. Automatically this just happens because you have your dark color underneath already. You could do this on a white canvas, but you'd work yourself to death trying to get that much dark in there. See, and here the black gesso puts that all in there for you. There. Okay, maybe back in here there's some things. They're a little darker. They hide way back in here. Now on black canvas, color shows up so much stronger than it does on a white canvas. So be careful that you don't get carried away. Oh, this gets working so nice, and it feels good. And next thing you know, you've covered up your whole canvas. There, and you want to retain some of these dark areas here. Makes it look deep and secretive, mysterious. Just all kinds of little happy things going on in there. But just think about form and shape and all the little limbs that live in there that create all these illusions. Most important. Just don't throw it on at random. It won't look right and you'll be unhappy. You don't want this to work for you. Take a little knife here. We'll take a little Van Dyke brown, maybe mix a little dark sienna with it. Now we need some land over on this side of the waterfall. See here? That'll help push that waterfall back. This is just brown, both browns. There. See? Just let this work right on down. Even if you can't see it, it's there. It's there. We're putting a dark color on there. There we go. And we can take the least little touch of titanium white mixed with those same brown colors. Same old brown colors. A little Van Dyke, little dark sienna. Mix it to just a marbled appearance. Don't overmix it. And then start up here. And we can create the illusion of a little, maybe there's a little cliff right here. A little place where the bunny rabbit can run around and get him a drink out of that waterfall. Of course, if he's not careful, he slips in there. Whew, we're going to have rabbit stew. Now then, just basically a clean knife, grab the edge of that and allow a little touch of that color, just a small little touch of that color to be pulled down. Just a very, very small amount. It'll create that illusion of big cliffs through in there. There. Now maybe in our waterfall, maybe there's all kind of little grassy things that live right up here on the top. Shoot, I tell you what, maybe some of our little grassy things start right in here. Just use the corner of the brush. Maybe there's all kind of little ferns and stuff that just sort of hang off there. If you have this much mist, chances are you're going to have a lot of beautiful plants that just sort of hang off the edges of these and grow everywhere. There we go. Here's some over here. Wherever. Just sort of think in your mind where you believe all these little things would grow. There. Maybe they come right on down. Here and there we can have a little brown. Maybe there's a little stone that lives there. There we go. Take a little touch of color. Just let it graze. Oh, most delicate touch. A little bit of color up on top of this to give that rock some shape and form. Not much though. Not much. Now then, you can come right back and just hang some of your little grassy areas right over it. Right over it. Maybe there's a few back here in the mist, but we can't see a lot of them because the mist is beginning to cover them. There we are. Look at all them little rascals. But just do this in layers. Think about what's farthest away and work forward, forward, forward. Maybe there's another big stone. Lives right down here. A little brown. And then take a little brown and white and see, just put a little highlight on that stone. Then we come back, hang some grass right over the top of that. Let that disappear right back in there. There. See, isn't that easy? We've got quite an effective little area here. Scratch in a few little sticks and twigs. Let all those things happen. Maybe, watch here. Watch here. I see something here. Let's do it this way. Take a little white on our brush. Decide where you think the water will be. Grab it and pull straight down. A little titanium white on the brush. But cut right into this stone here. Just pull it down. But it's important that this comes straight down. There. Even if you turn your brush at that kind of angle, you still want to go straight down. There we are. Maybe it comes over here somewhere. We don't know yet where we want to go. See, it's picking up that color that's underneath. And all these things, these beautiful colors, will just happen automatically. Very lightly go across. Just enough to distort it a little bit. Wheel them back in here. There. See, isn't that easy? You have the illusion of water. Now then, you ready to get crazy? Tell you what, let's take a little Van Dyke brown, a little dark sienna mixed together. Maybe there's a big cliff. Let's come right down in here. Maybe there's a big cliff that lives right in there. Just sort of make a decision. Maybe it comes, choom. Got to make those little noises though. Just putting a little brown here and there on the canvas. So when we hit it with a little touch of the brown and white, a little highlight, it'll jump right out at you. Look at that. See? There we go. Little touch right there. But very, very little paint. It's just, it looks like there's more paint there than there really is. The reason it looks like it is because, once again, color stands out so strong against the black canvas. So strong. I'm going back to my brush. It's got little grassy colors on. Now, if our cliff lives right in here, let's just begin putting some of the little grassy things that live right here on our cliff. Just let them follow right on down. Just follow the basic angle there. See there? Just sort of fill it in. But leave some of your little rocky areas there show through. Don't kill them all. There we go. Now here's another little trick. See, if you want to push that waterfall back, let this come over it. Look at there. And instantly, it'll push that waterfall back into the painting. And now it's back it's in a secret little place back here. There we go. This is a place that the tourists never see. It just hides in there. There we are. Wherever you think they should live. Okay. Isn't that fantastic? But these little grassy areas are what make it so nice. Maybe these come all the way down to the water. Maybe they even hang in the water a little bit. That's all right too. Now sometimes it's nice to take and grab just a touch of those and pull them down into the water. Let them reflect. Just let them reflect. That little touch there will really excite. I'm going to touch a little bit of phthalo blue here and there. Just tiniest little bit. Just enough to make it stand out a little. Beautiful. Now then, maybe there's a big tree that lives right there. So for that, we'll go back to the same lavender color that we covered the canvas with. And maybe our big tree hangs over here. So all we're doing here is creating layers that each layer creates more depth in the painting, makes it look deeper. And to me, that's what makes a painting interesting, that it has depth and distance. It's not just a flat subject. It has dimension. There we go. Okay. Maybe that comes right on down. Just sort of make a decision where you think a big old tree would live here and drop it in. That's all there is to it. Probably doesn't look like much at this point, but it's there. It's there. We're going to take liner brush, a little bit of Van Dyke brown, a little white, all those colors. Mix it with paint thinner so it's very thin, quite dark. Get a little dark sand in there too. There, that's better. Now then, we got a few little limbs that are showing through here, but keep these quite dark. We don't want them to get too light. If they do, they won't look exactly right. There. And when you're painting these, you might even think that they're not going to show, but they will. People will see them. They will see them. Of course, as we've mentioned before, I know nobody's interested in that happy buck, but if you should be, these black canvases are some of the best-selling paintings that you can do. People will love them. Absolutely love them. Now then, clean that old brush. Let's take back to my brush with the greens on it. I'm going to add some black. I want this to be a much darker green. Much darker. We'll tap a little color into the brush. Now let's go up in here and let's begin putting on some shapes there. See there? Now, once again, if you have trouble making your paint stick, add the least little touch of the paint thinner. Oh, least little touch though. Don't get crazy, because very quickly it'll get too much, and then you can't control it. It'll just run all over the place. And think about how these limbs would hang, especially in this kind of area with all that water there. These would probably be big old saggy trees. There. Maybe sort of tropical type trees. Darker and darker back over in this area. They don't get too bright. There. Once again, I know you get tired of hearing it, but think about form here. Don't just hit it random. Think about form. There's all kinds of little things that live in here. There's little limbs that protrude out this way. That's what these are hanging on. There. Sometimes maybe they hang over like that. However you want them. And when you start doing this, you'll see all kinds of things happening. Don't just try to copy. Don't just try to copy. You know, we're trying to teach you a technique here. So when you do your own painting, sort of look at it. You're going to see hundreds of things that are happening. Your painting will probably come out much better than this one. But don't just try to copy. There. That's the reason we don't trace anything or start out with patterns here. Because it's more of an individual thing if you do your own thing. We each see nature through different eyes. We each have our own idea of how things should look. And the way I think things should look may not necessarily be the way you think things should look. So let your imagination take you where you want to go. Don't just depend on somebody else to take you there, because you can do it. Maybe there's a little bank here so we can stand on and look out here. Let's just drop in, just using some of that lavender color. We'll just put us in a happy little bank right there. I just put the dark in there just to form an edge so we have dark in there underneath this. Now we can come back and we can create all kinds of little things. There. Shoot. Now if you want to show depth under these, leave a little dark area underneath those bushes, because that's where the little creature would hide. Tell you what, maybe there's a little stone lives right there. Put a little brown, take a little brown and white. There. We'll just create us just a happy little stone that lives out here. He watches all this water play and fall. There. Something like so. There we are. Now then, let's take I'm still using a little small knife. I like it. I'm going to take the least little bit of color on the knife, almost none, and very firmly just scrape in some little things here and there, just to bring that together. Clean up those edges around the stones and everything. There. Not a great deal though. A little bit out in here. See there? Look at that little bit of blue that's right there. Doesn't that shine though? But when you do this, use it sparingly. Use it sparingly. That's what makes it so impressive, is that there's such a small amount of it there. If you had a lot, it would lose its effect. So that's a little treasure. Hang on to it. There we are. Just a few little ripples here and there. And take our liner brush, a little bit of the brown and the white. There we go. Maybe here and there we can pick out a little stick that lives in there. A few little things that hang over wherever you think they should be. You see these sticking out when you're looking at the woods and stuff. Put them wherever you think they should be. I think we're about ready to sign. That one looks finished. Take a little thinner, a little bit of the bright red. Let's sign it right down here. There we are. Luckily, I have a very short name, so it only takes a second. There we are. And I hope you've enjoyed this one. It's a little bit different. It'll give you some experience with a black gesso, and you can do a fantastic painting to make you feel good in here. From all of us here, I'd love to wish you happy painting. God bless, my friend.